I just jumped in, took risk, and figured things out, along the way. That taught me that action creates clarity faster than planning, you know.
Yeah.
I see
Those are gems.
Yeah, I see
Definitely.
people that think over and over about starting an idea, about doing something or not doing something. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to decide fast and you have to act fast.
Welcome to the Bricks and Banks podcast, where real estate meets real wealth. Whether you're building from the ground up or stacking your paper to the ceiling, Steph breaks down property power plays and money moves you can act on. From first-time buyers to seasoned investors, this podcast is your blueprint for financial freedom through real estate, business, and investment. Subscribe now. It's time to build your future. This is Bricks and Banks with Steph.
Before we dive into the conversation, I want to let you know that this episode is a paid partnership with BetterHelp. You know what's interesting? We all have these patterns in our lives, ways we react when we are stressed out, hurt, or disappointed. Maybe it's shutting people out, or walking yourself to exhaustion, or that voice in your head that says you're not good enough. For me, it's shutting people out. And here's the thing. We know these patterns aren't helping us. We can see them clearly, but breaking them, that's a complete different story. I used to think I could just power through on my own, that time would heal everything, but I just needed to be stronger. But the truth is, some cycles are nearly impossible to break alone. Not because we're weak, but because we're too close to see the full picture. That's why having outside support, real professional support, becomes a game changer. When you have someone trained to help you understand why these patterns exist and give you actual tools to help change them, everything shifts. You're not just surviving anymore, you're actually on your path to healing. That's why I'm partnering with BetterHelp today. BetterHelp is on a mission to make starting therapy easier. They'll connect you with a credentialed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful, unbiased advice, ensuring confidentiality throughout the process. You just get to fill out a questionnaire and you'll be matched with a therapist as soon as possible. And if that's not the right fit, don't fret. You can easily switch therapists anytime at no extra cost. To get started, head on to betterhelp.com/bricksandbanks. That is betterhelp.com/bricksandbanks to get 10% off your first month of therapy. I'll make sure to leave the link in the description so you can click and get right on. Breaking the cycle starts with one step, and this could be yours. Going to therapy is not a sign of weakness. No, it's a sign of strength. BetterHelp makes therapy simple with 10% off your first month of therapy to help you get started. Remember, you don't have to do this alone. A problem shared is a problem half solved. And we are live. Hey everyone, welcome to another amazing episode of the Breaks and Banks podcast. I'm your host, Stephanie, and today I am joined by someone who embodies what it means to build from scratch and turn ideas into impact. At just 21, Soha Ashrafiyan launched her very first business without funding, connections, or even a playbook, just curiosity and determination. Fast forward to today, she's the co-founder of Temis, which is an international branding agency that has worked with businesses across 50 plus countries. She's also on the board of Liam Game Studio and is bringing gamification and creative strategy into the business world. Over the past 6 years, Soha has built multiple ventures, from a beauty brand to a game design studio, each driven by her passion for storytelling, creative problem solving, and helping brands not just be seen, but be remembered. In this conversation, we're going to unpack her journey, the lessons learned along the way, and the mindset shifts that allowed her to go from sketching ideas in a notebook to building a global brand before the age of 30. Hello, Soha. Welcome to the show.
Hello, Stephanie. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you here in this show.
Yay. Sarah is joining us all the way from Dubai. My very first Dubai guest on the show. Yay!
Perfect.
You've described yourself as a girl who used to sketch business ideas in the back of her notebooks. Where do you think that curiosity and drive to create something so early came on? Did you come
Um,
from a family of business gurus and whatnot?
yeah, I think it started with a very deep compassion.
Hmm.
It has a story. I remember that me and my mom had a very deep compassion for small businesses that started working, and after a while they shut down their businesses. I remember that my mom came to our house and said, "So do you remember the guy who started the store over the street?" And I was like, "Yeah, what about him?" And she told me that she just closed and she shut it down, because
Oh,
he had no customers and the business didn't work. And it was like, I felt so sad. And
hmm.
sometimes I even cried if I knew that person, I had interaction with him before, because I felt how, embarrassing it would be when you start a business and it just doesn't work and you still put so much effort, time, and money on it, and you started it with so much hope. And
Hmm.
after a while, you have to close it, and how embarrassment and how bad feelings you can feel.
Yeah.
So that's, you know, deep compassion was like when every time that I heard or I saw something like this, I started thinking what that person could do that led to success, not closing the business. And I remember that I was 14 or 15, that French fries store opened next to our house. And I became friend with a guy. He was a very nice guy. He gave me free French fries and something like that. And I remember
Wow.
that I wanted to compensate her his favor. And
Hmm.
one time I remember that I sat down and wrote all the marketing plan that on that time I didn't know it's a marketing plan. And I wrote down, his weakness and his, I don't know, good points, bad points, everything I wrote down, and all the idea he could actually gain new customers or make his customers loyal or something like that. So it was the way I thought about business from the very young age. I always thought,
Hmm.
okay, if that business won't shut down very soon, what should they do actually? And yeah, I think maybe the root is from those days and from that compassion for me.
Wow, that's such an empathetic story, and I love the way you embody people's pain. You see people's pain and you feel it because you know that the business you're doing, it's a source of livelihood for them to cater for themselves and their family. And if they're shutting down that business because there are no customers, it means that they're not able to take care of their family, and you felt their pain, and that's what drove you to sketch those business.
Exactly.
How did you convince yourself to start a business? Because at just 21, you launch your first business without connections, funding, or even clarity. So, what was going through your mind at that stage to make you take the leap to start a business at 21?
Yeah. I'm that kind of person who put
Hmm.
myself in situation where there is no way back, you know?
Okay.
When I started my first business without any funding or any support or maybe even any idea that what exactly I have to do,
Hmm.
I had to fight over it with my dad, with my family, because they weren't agree with it. When you born in a Middle Eastern country as a girl, with a
Hmm.
dad who has his thoughts about girls and how he has to raise them, and the definition of success from a dad in Middle East, which is raising a girl, finding a husband, bringing child, is completely different with the journey I went. So
Hmm.
I had a big fight with my dad, and I didn't spoke to him for the 2, 3 first years that I started my business because he was so mad at me. And
Um,
also I didn't have any savings, so I had to get some loans from the bank. And so I had the debts that I had to pay. And this kind of pressure led me to have no choice but making money. and to become successful. And I like to put myself in these situations because I think these kind of situations that are the ones that really push me forward. And
Mm.
if I was a commander, I think I was the kind that burned all the bridge behind and just moved forward and pushed the soldiers to come after them. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's why I started the business and I had no choice. So I worked 24/7 for the first year and a half to make the business successful and it worked out at the end.
Wow. That's just basically a story of grit and grind. So what business was it? What was the first business you started?
Yeah, it was a branding and marketing
Oh,
company.
okay.
And yes, the first business of ours was branding and marketing, and we started it in Iran's market. But
Mm.
I found an opportunity in Iran's market, which was we have a very low wage in Iran because of the currency value of countries in Middle East. All of us
Mm.
have the
Okay.
same opportunity and same thread actually. The wage is so low in our countries. And I thought, okay, if I can start a business that we pay with our currency and but we gain money in dollar or in euro, that would be
Yeah.
a huge difference. We started working with other countries. So we could get our first project from USA after 1.5 year. So it was the first project and we actually learned how it works. We found our marketing channel and after that we could gain thousands of projects from over 50 countries in the world.
Wow. That's mind blowing. But looking back at that journey and how you exerted yourself working 247 for 1.5 years before you got your breakthrough, what would you say is the most powerful lesson you learned doing what's the most powerful lesson you've learned from starting
Um,
your business, the first business?
yes. Actually when I started I had nothing and
Mm.
I just jumped in, took risk, and figured things out, along the way. That taught me that action creates clarity faster than planning, you know.
Yeah,
I see
those are gems.
Yeah, I see
Definitely.
people that think over and over about starting an idea, about doing something or not doing something. If you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to decide fast and you have to act fast and you have to learn fast from those acts and from those circumstances. So
Mm.
it was one lesson that I learned. And the other was I realized process um is progress is impossible if you try to carry everything on your own. So you have to find
Mm.
people that be your partner, that be your teammates, and
Yeah.
you have to find people that are smarter than you in some aspects and
Mm.
just let them do the things that they can do better than you. So you don't burn out and you don't have to do everything with yourself.
Wow, these are very amazing lessons because, yes, I love what you said. Action brings clarity because you can sit down and think about it, think about all the steps, but it doesn't ever make sense until you take the first step and you see that everything you even wrote down on the plan book might not even work out the way you envisaged it. So, action definitely brings clarity, and you just need to bet on yourself, put your best foot forward, and
Exactly.
take a go at it. That's
Wow.
great.
Very
And
much.
I know you said you've made a lot of mistakes in your early days business, I'm sure in terms of process and everything. So can you share one of those moments that made you feel like a failure and made you want to quit, but you later later turned around for you?
Yeah, sure. Along the way, after I could earn money from the business that I started, I was
Yeah.
just so much in love with starting new ventures and starting out with new ideas. I was so
Mm-hmm.
ambitious about it and so excited about it. So I put all the money I could gather on new ideas and It was like I played all in on new ideas that had too much risk. And sometimes, most of the times, actually, they didn't work because I had no experience. And I, there was two main reasons that they didn't work. First,
Mm.
I didn't have any idea about how to launch an MVP. If you know what is MVP, is minimum viable product. It means that before you start a big idea and you spend so much on its development, on its, I don't know, recruiting people or investing on any
Yeah.
other part, you have to define a very small part of that product to start and see how markets react to that product. You have to
Oh,
find
okay,
a
that makes
way to
sense. Yeah.
start small. So
Mm.
before, I didn't know this concept. So I started big, I developed an idea, and then I realized that idea was crap and the market really doesn't need that idea.
Mm.
So, and the second actually reason was I was busy with my main business that had the real cash flow. So I couldn't put
Okay.
all of my focus on the new business that I started, on the new idea. And when you want to actually start a new idea, you have to put all of your focus, or someone has to put lots of focus on the new idea so it would work.
Mm.
Otherwise, if you don't put all of your focus on the idea, it won't work. After a while, I realized I have to start new ideas, new businesses with the people who can handle the ownership of that idea. Responsible, brilliant people who
Mm-hmm.
come to the business, take some percentage, and work as a owner and founder. And I'd be like a investor, board member, or advisor for that business because I cannot launch several different ventures in different industry myself. It won't work. So if I go back, I just don't inject that much money into new ideas without doing these two steps.
Wow. Okay, that's amazing. Yes. So you said taking the minimum viable products and testing it out in the market to see if it works because yeah, a lot of ideas be hitting us every day, but how we sure these ideas are even worth our while. So you, like you said, you can't don't put all your eggs in one basket. Test it
And
out small, see the market reaction, make some money, then go all out, all in it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
yeah,
So can you just share like your businesses, type of businesses you do and what they're trying to achieve in the market space for all the business lines you run?
actually, I think the common thread in all the businesses that I started, for me, I mean, I have a
Mm.
partner. Each of us are focused in one part of the business. For me, is
Okay.
about distribution and marketing and expanding the business. My partner does the systemizing thing,
Hmm.
building the team, human resources, and this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
he is the one that sustains the business, but I'm the one that distribute and grows through marketing. So on the surface, beauty, gaming, and other industry that I'm working on look completely different. But for me, each one has an exercise in the same question. How do you take an idea, package it in a way people love, and then scale it profitably? So for me, it's about marketing mostly.
No. So, but what part of marketing would you say is like the major things brand should be focusing on? Because branding is a growth engine. It's what fuels a business to run. It's what funds the business to thrive and stay relevant in the market. So, being able to work with 50 with businesses across 50 plus countries, what's that wild perspective that you believe are non-negotiables for someone trying to or a business trying to build a memorable brand today?
Yeah. Um, Actually, I think the principle of branding,
Hmm.
which is not negotiable in different cultures and in different country, can be divided to three main things.
Okay.
First is clarity of the story. You have to people need to instantly understand what your brand stands for and
Hmm.
what is the story. You shouldn't confuse them with different story and with different values. If they confuse your brand lost already. Second thing that is very important is the consistency. You have to be consistent in your branding aspects. And branding aspects are your visual part, which is logo, branding, colors. It can
Mm.
be the brand story. It can be the way your customer support talk to people. It can be the way that you create your advertisement and the message of them. Every touch point of your business with the customers can be actually about your branding, and it has to be consistent. And the third is emotional connection. If you
Okay.
want to create a brand, it has to connect to people emotions, and it has to make them feel in a special way. But I want to add something. If you are just starting and you have a small business, you shouldn't be worried about branding. You have to be focused on marketing, because marketing and branding, I believe, are not in a same line. You have to sometimes sacrifice marketing for branding, or sometimes sacrifice branding for marketing. And if you're in just the first steps of your business, the most important thing is create a cash flow, which is through marketing.
Mm.
Don't be that
Okay.
focused on branding. Branding is mostly for businesses who work in luxury industries. You want to sell luxury goods, or you're a medium-sized to big-sized company, which have to budget for spending on marketing or branding.
Right. So for a business that's just starting, like a small business that's just starting, maybe the business is into pastry making and whatnot. What would you advise in terms of branding? What would you advise should be a budget for their branding? Would you say,
Uh,
oh, focus on the quality of your outputs and leave marketing aside, or build
no,
the brand
actually,
and the marketing
yes.
and
I
the
actually
money will flow?
I actually believe in marketing for every
Mm,
business, not branding. I mean, if you're
okay.
a small pastry shop, you
Yeah,
have to focus on bring some cash flow to your business, because you have
sure.
to stay in the market. You have to be alive at first.
Mm-hmm.
So see what you have to find an offer that your competitors don't have them. You have to find a competitive advantage over your competitors in the market. You have to know what your customers really need and create a good offer, and then run advertisement on them and start selling your products. After that, okay, you start telling a story to people. Telling a story would definitely increase your sale, would definitely engage more people. But before telling a
Mm,
story, if you tell a story and you don't have any customer base, you don't have any audience base, who want to listen about your story?
that's true.
You have
Okay, that makes
to
sense.
first build a base. You have to first actually gain some money, some cash flows.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, you can spend that money on branding, telling the story, advertising as a brand awareness advertisement, and this kind of things. So after you gain money, you can start your branding process.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And that's for product based. Your market, build your audience first before you start telling your story. But how would you approach a service based business, like people that render services, maybe consultancy services, electrical services, and whatnot? How would you advise that they position themselves in the marketplace?
For service based businesses, having a
Yeah.
good offer even makes more sense. I
Hmm.
think if your audience haven't read the $1 million offers from Alex Hormozy, I advise them to read it very carefully, because it's
Oh,
for business
okay.
based companies. And it says how you should create an offer that your potential customer wouldn't reject it. You have
Okay.
to offer something to your customer that they won't reject it. And after that,
Hmm.
you have that offer. For example, you given, for example, consultation in something. You want to advertise
Yes.
that. Okay, what would it be the good offer for that? You can put money back guarantee. You can put something like progress guarantee. For example, you say after you take part in my consultation,
Hmm.
for example, you can get these achievements. You have to find
Okay.
a way to present your offer. And after you
Hmm.
find out what is your real offer that people after listening it won't reject it, you can start advertisement on that. I mean, have a good
Okay.
offer. People don't care about your brand. They would come to you for sure. And after you gain some customer, you have to work on your branding and services as well.
Okay. So the key to service-based business is creating the good offer. And when you do that, that way you're building your audience. And once you have an audience, because you've offered good services, you can now start the work of branding. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. I feel like this is like a mini consultation session.
I'm happy
So
about
much
that.
sharing. I'm really grateful I'm here with you. So let's talk about your creative problem solvers mindset. This is
Mhm.
something you're big at because you've described yourself as someone who thrives on creative problem solving. Can you walk us through a project or client story where creativity truly unlocked growth in a way strategy alone couldn't?
Yeah. Um, People sometimes mix up creativity with, that something goes viral. I want
Mm,
to give my definition about creativity. I believe that creativity isn't just about launching something extraordinary or producing a video that goes massively viral or doing this kind of things that actually creates so much noise.
mm,
In my opinion, of course, those are part of creativity, but to me, real creativity is different. It's about finding simple, small shortcuts that allow you to achieve something with minimal resources. If you don't have that much resource, if you don't have that much employee, if you don't have that much money or that much connection,
yeah.
you have to figure out a way to be able to do something that help you grow your business, to get customers, to actually achieve something that you are looking for.
Okay.
For example, I know a very good company in Dubai, which is working in furniture market. They are a very
Okay.
big company. They have everything and they have very
Mm,
great resources. But when I see their advertisement, I know they neither selling and nor doing brand awareness. And I'm not sure what they are doing in their advertisement. They are so bad. They have so many resources. They can run campaigns that make huge sales for them, but they just simply don't because they don't have the creativity approach. But for a
okay. Yeah.
furniture brand ourselves, with a very, very minimal resources, we created a campaign that actually brought them so much sales. And we did it
Wow.
through right marketing, finding the right people, not from the normal way that you can target people through Meta or other ads platform through some way that are more shortcutted. It's about finding the shortcuts and finding the simplest way, not over
Mm.
engineering something to be creative.
So what's the shortcut? Are you advocating for Google Ads or are you advocating for Meta-based ads?
I'm talking about for that campaign especially. I'm talking about Meta
Okay.
business. Yeah.
Okay.
Um, for the targeting, everybody go to some certain options that Meta provides, and it's so
Mm.
direct, and everybody can do. But there are so many other ways that you can target the right people as well. So you have to think it through and you have to search about it and you have to see lots of case studies and then you can find the right way for each business or for each customers that you have.
What about AI? Do you leverage AI in your targeting in terms of planning the marketing campaigns and
Uh,
advertising?
yes, we have recently started working on some AI automation as well. Uh,
Okay.
the service that we are currently providing, but we recently started to developing some automation that can automate all
Mm.
everything for marketing. So
Okay.
I will let you know if it developed and it's working. You can be the
Okay,
first
amazing.
free user for that.
Definitely would need that. So let's talk about your role in gaming. I don't know how you moved from being a serial entrepreneur and you entered into the gaming world, but let's talk about that. So with your role on the board of Liam Game Studio, you've
Mhm.
stepped into the world of gaming and gamification. How do you see gamification influencing the way businesses engage customers and even scale revenue?
Yes. I think gamification is so underrated. brands and
Mm.
businesses don't use it as much as they have to. You know, when people, gamers play games,
Yeah.
they buy virtual assets, right? I mean, I'm not a
Mm-hmm.
gamer. I never understand it. You buy a virtual gun, you buy a virtual knife. It's insane,
Yeah.
you know?
I think they buy shields, they buy force fields, they buy jets.
Exactly. Exactly.
Virtual. It's
And
crazy. Yes.
think that if they buy virtual stuff, because it's
Mm-hmm.
only a game that engage them and make them feel not bored. Imagine what this gamification can do with the businesses if they do it in a right way with their business. They implemented it
Hmm.
in a right way with their business. It can grow their revenue. It can grow the engagement. It can grow the number of application visit or the store visit. And I think it's when add gamification into brand experience, you're not just selling products, you are creating behavioral loops, you know? Small
Hmm.
rewards, milestones, and recognition that make people keep back to actually your store or your application or your website. So I think it's something that brand needs to leverage it in their marketing approach, marketing efforts.
Okay, so essentially what you're saying is that you use the gaming system as leverage in your advertising campaigns. Is that what you do?
We don't do it for all of our customers because it's a
Okay,
it's separated from the marketing itself. But
exactly.
for some customers, well, we actually define this gamification project as well, and we suggest them some gamification that they can apply to their brands. So,
Mm-hmm.
this kind of approach led to creating so many free UGC for one of the restaurants that we used to work with. We asked them to actually implement something in their restaurant, and people after that started taking picture from those options, and they started create content. And for physical stores especially, I think gamification is something that small businesses have to definitely think about it.
That's nice. So, but how do small businesses enter into the gaming world? Would you just meet a gaming company and say, "Oh, I want to feature my products in your game"? Is that what you do?
Yeah, actually, there are some tools in gamification, which
Okay.
if you search, you will see a list of the tools that you have in gamification. For example, one of them is rewards. One of them
Mm,
is, for example, the progress that people can make. For example, if you install the application of Starbucks, you see that you make a progress, right? Every time that you
mm,
drink a coffee, you make a progress. And you
okay.
just want to get to that special point, not because of the reward, because you want to complete that process. And
Oh, I see.
these tools are something that every each business actually can use one of them inside their business.
Mm,
So if you're
mm-hmm.
a small business, I suggest, and you have a store especially, I suggest to create an environment that people can take picture from themselves on that environment. Create a beautiful place, put an mirror in your store, and put some gamification gaming aspect around it. People become actually engaged with that gaming aspect, take pictures and take video, and they actually publish it in their social media. For each business, I think it's different, and you have to think about it through.
Oh, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense because you're essentially creating a community that way, and you can leverage that community to build brand loyalty.
Exactly.
When you have loyal customers, you're always relevant in the marketplace. Hey,
Exactly.
this is fun. But I know, given you're a very busy woman, given your busy schedules and different businesses, working with different clients and whatnot. So how, as someone that is constantly building, innovating and rebranding and whatnot, how do you personally manage the tension between ambition and burnout? Because I know a lot of business owners can be really stressful trying to build multiple things at the same time.
Yeah. Honestly, the tension between ambition and burnout is always there. I mean, you cannot avoid it. So at the start, I was just hustling nonstop, and I just working, and it wasn't easy.
Mm,
But during the time, I learned pretty fast that growth only works if you can actually sustain it. And now I try to build systems and step back. When I come
Okay.
with new ideas, I try to put someone in charge for that idea and
Mm.
tell them what I think about that idea, listen to their ideas of my teams and team members. And honestly, the biggest thing is my team. I really believe in having smart, intelligent people around me. And I've been lucky to have that. And many times they actually perform even better than me. So I just trust them and let them do their job. So it keeps the pressure off me and makes growth more sustainable.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. Talking about team building, I know like popular saying that good help is hard to find. What's your strategy around building teams that would basically help you support your dream? How do you navigate that? Because managing human beings can be very complex
Usually
part
it's
of
not
business.
my strength point myself. This is
Okay.
something that I mean, I'm not very bad at it, but I'm not the
Okay.
best person for doing this. So I just, let this part to be managed by my partner, which is very good at this.
Okay.
So what I always do is I team up with the main person, which can be in charge of the business, and we become friends with each other. And I let them to actually make the team up themselves and manage the human resources themselves because I'm someone who focus on creating something very fast and grow it. And I'm very aggressive in marketing and it makes the team crazy. So I just, step aside and let them do their job. And I don't involve in human resource thing because I'm not just good at it.
I understand you. You just focus on your area of core competence and let every
Yeah,
other person
but
do
I
their job.
think it's the maturity that you understand you cannot be good in everything in the same time. Okay. I
Exactly.
see so many business owners that try to do everything by themselves and
Mm.
it makes the burnout process very fast because you cannot be the marketing person and have the growth mindset and be in the same
Mm.
the calm person who can have very good communication with everybody and be passionate with them and can manage them and make system. It cannot be all in someone, so you have to understand what is your strengths and what are your weaknesses and just deal with it.
Yeah, definitely. Big one on understanding your strengths and weaknesses so you can work on your strengths and outsource your weaknesses because there's no point stressing
Exactly.
over what you can't control.
Exactly.
Yeah, one of your favorite themes is building from scratch because you're basically a testament to building multiple businesses and enterprises from scratch. So, for our listeners, many of whom are real estate investors, entrepreneurs, and founders, what's your best advice for someone starting with no funding, no network, and just an idea?
Actually, we actually in Temis had a client which worked in real estate. So I had
Hmm.
to work in this field as well. And
Okay.
that was a very successful project. It made enormous ROAS for that business. And I
Wow.
think there was a reason for that. The business was in actually industrial real estate, but it was very niche. They
Hmm.
provided cloud kitchen units. Do you know what is cloud
Okay.
kitchen?
No, I haven't heard it before.
Yeah, cloud kitchen is a very big kitchen with different units inside that every chef
Okay.
can rent out one of those units and start
Oh,
their food business on that unit. So
oh, that's
there's no need for construction or something like that. If you're a chef and you like to start your food business, you can just go rent one of those units that comes with a very actually less amount money is needed for starting your food business. So, my first advice is if you want to just start in real estate, start from a
mm,
niche. I mean, if
mm,
everyone suggests normal apartment in a city there are so many of them, you try
yeah.
to find something more niche with some more specific advantage. Or if you cannot find that, try to define an advantage for the units you have already. Try to make them different from the other things that there are in the market, so you don't go in the competition with other real estate agents that already have so much credits in the market, have so many customers, so many
Sure.
audiences, and you don't enter to that competition because it's so difficult. The second lesson that actually I didn't do it myself at the beginning of my journey, and if I go back,
Okay.
I would is don't afraiding from spending money on advertisement. I mean, even with
Hmm.
dollar, even with $200, just create a good offer, create a good advertisement, learn how to write scenarios that turn to customer, turn to leads, turn to sale for you, and just run advertisement. Have to learn how to do this.
Okay.
And third, don't try to do everything alone. You have to, if you don't have funding, if you don't have anything else, you must value your most valuable asset is people and
True.
partners, teammates, or even freelancers who are
Hmm.
smarter than you in some aspects and can help you to actually go into the market.
Wow, that's amazing. I feel like this is a master class and you're just throwing all the gems, just giving. You keep giving. So grateful. So, if you reflect on your journey so far, what's like the single biggest mindset shift that allowed you to go from that little girl, 21-year-old, dreaming to making mistakes? So it's you're 27-year-old building international businesses today. What's the biggest mindset shift that changed for you?
I think my mindset has changed that much during these years.
Hmm.
What really changed was how people look at you before and after you succeed, you know?
So what's the vibe like?
You can be the same person with the same ideas, the
Yeah.
same drive, and same everything, but if you're not successful, people think you're
Mm-hmm.
crazy. Once you're
Sure.
succeed, those same people call you visionary. Before I
Exactly.
succeed, whenever I told people I have a dream of creating, building flying cars. They just laughed at me. And now
Mm.
then I tell them, they're like, okay, that's visionary. And it's weird because I realized that history is written by the winners. The stories we celebrate are told by those who made it.
Hmm.
If you haven't any succeed, people don't listen to you, and success doesn't make you who you are. It just makes the world finally pay attention to you. So yeah,
Wow. This is
that's dark,
a
and you
lot
know,
of nuggets. I like that because basically life is a blank check. It's up to you to write your story. It's up to you to tell your
yeah.
story. So no
But
one's
it's
gonna tell the
dark in
story
the
for
same
you.
time because you can be a great person, you can be very intelligent, and
Yeah,
you're just not in the right moment yet.
true. You're not in the
Because
right
in
room. You're not in
the
the right space. You're not in the right
Exactly,
environment.
exactly. And in the first year that I started my business and I kept failing and I kind of was losing my hopes, I thought I'm a freaking loser and I thought I'm stupid and myself and everybody around me lost their beliefs in me just because I wasn't in the moment of success yet. And after
Hmm.
I succeed, everybody were like, "Oh wow, how did you do it? How you
It's a
think?"
genius.
Exactly. And I'm like, I'm the same person. You just have to give people chance to shine someday, if they're trying.
Yeah, but the truth about life is that no one will necessarily give you the chance, so you have to take it. Some people might give you the chance, give you the benefit of doubt, but
I know.
in
Yeah.
the most common one is that people would not necessarily give you the chance or permission. So you don't have to wait for permission, you take it.
Yeah.
Because once you take
Exactly.
it and
I
you
can't be
and you
angry.
bet on yourself, because a lot of people want to do something, but they want other people to bet on them. They want other people to invest in them. You have to invest in yourself first before someone is able to invest in you. Because if
Yeah,
you can't bet on yourself, why would anyone want to bet on you? So
exactly.
now you're winning. You've made you've made successes out of a particular business that you started. That's your proof that you can do anything, whatever you push your hand to do. can actually accomplish it. But if you don't try, you might never succeed. In fact, you've already failed.
Exactly.
So it's just, I love this discussion. I'm just enjoying every bit of it. But I think we need we need to bring it to an end right now. That's last question for this session. So looking ahead, what excites you most about the next chapter of your life, the next chapter of your business, whether it's with tennis, Liam Game Studio, or the projects you haven't even started yet? What's the most exciting
Yeah.
thing that hits you right now?
We are developing a marketing platform, which I told you.
Okay.
I'm very excited about it because it feels like the natural next step that ties
Hmm.
everything I've learned together. For me, it's not just another project, it's the foundation for the future of how I see marketing and business evolving. So I'm
Okay.
really looking forward it to launch one day very soon. So
Definitely.
yeah, it's something that I'm really looking forward to it.
Thank you so much for that, sharing your thoughts and plans. And well, another question I wanted to ask you is what do you see the marketing landscape within the next few years? How do you see it, especially with the advent of AI? AI
Exactly.
is changing everything. So how do you see AI impacting it, and how do you plan to leverage AI and gamification to bring more value in the
Mhm.
market space, in the
Um,
branding and marketing
yeah.
space industry?
Actually, I think people have to first of all, we have to accept that okay, AI is
It's come to stay.
yes, changing everything, and we cannot
Mhm.
completely anticipate the future of nothing. First of all, we have to be resilient to adapt with the situation.
Okay.
And try to learn new things, new tools, try to actually adapt ourselves with the new flow of AI and marketing. And second of all, I think one of the most thing that is going to matter a lot is
Hmm.
taking advantage of building communities and building
Awesome.
spaces that people feel connected to each other. It can be
Mm.
virtual or it can be physical, but creating the
Okay.
community and using the gamification on those communities, I think something that in evolving the AI makes the most actually difference for brands
Mm.
because after a while, everyone can use the AI in the same way. What can makes you difference is something that is not AI, is something that is
Yeah.
apart from the AI, which is creating community and connection between
Community.
your customers, between your people, and take them out of their lone world with their all
Mm.
virtual things that we are stuck on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's very, I love what you said because community is at the heart of everything. And especially when it comes to building brands and basically building that brand loyalty. Because if people don't feel connected, if they don't resonate with your story, they would not necessarily patronize you.
Exactly.
So yes, when people see that they're buying from people, I know that yes, AI has come to stay, but your business should always have that element of human connection because that's what at the end of the day we are selling to humans. AI can sell to humans to an extent, but it's the human factor in the sales funnel, in the marketing funnel that keeps that customer coming back to the
Yeah,
brand.
I agree.
Amazing. So that brings us to the second section of this segment. It's called the firecracker section. Drum roll. So this is just me asking you a bunch of questions, fire round, and you answering me with the first question, first answer that comes to mind.
Okay.
So number one, what's one book or podcast that has influenced your thinking the most?
It's Steve Jobs biography. Yeah, it was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, that's very
it
interesting.
was
It's
my
very interesting
hero.
read. Amazing. So you see, you connect to the Apple story. That's why you would buy an Apple phone. It's not because Apple phone is the best in the world. Well, it is.
Yes,
But
exactly.
yes, because you connect to the story, you connect to the founder's story, you're loyal to that brand. Okay, that makes sense. So if you could use one marketing channel to grow a brand today, what would it be and why?
One marketing channel, it would
Yeah.
be Meta for sure because Meta is the most used, Instagram is something that everybody in all around the world using.
Yeah.
for example, TikTok is not like that. It's not that much
Mm-hmm.
famous or that much in use in every country yet, at least. So I just, if I want to pick one, I would pick Meta because everybody are using Facebook and Instagram,
Right.
and the AI is very intelligent, so
Yeah.
this would be easier to work with.
Amazing. So what would you say is the biggest misconception people have about entrepreneurship?
Misconception.
Mm-hmm.
I think they think people usually think it's a glamorous word with unlimited freedom and
Yeah.
enormous amount of money. And it's just that.
Yeah.
It's just a path that you can go to at the end after 20 years. You go to heaven or to hell and you don't know about it because it's 50-50. So another big misconception is thinking that you need the perfect idea or a lot of funding to start. In truth,
Mm.
most successful businesses didn't begin with perfect plans. They just began the action, testing and adapting with the world and with the, market, and they just could grow their business.
Yeah. About that, I came across a podcast the other day, and the person was talking about how you don't necessarily even need to create a new idea to start a business. You can just copy what has already been done
Exactly.
and what's working, because why not? If not, you're just
Yeah, just a small improvement would work because why not?
exactly, because everyone is selling bread. Bread works, everybody eats bread. So just bake your own bread and sell, innit? There's no need creating a business idea from space.
Exactly.
So if you weren't building a business today, what do you think you'd be doing right now?
Sorry, if I wanted to start a new business,
No, if you weren't in the line of entrepreneurship, if you weren't doing business at all today, what would you be doing? What else would you be doing?
I think I would be a marketing manager in a company, probably.
Mm,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think the same role that I have as my
yes,
business, I did this in another company.
amazing. So how can we reach you? Your socials, your website, how can we get through to you?
Yes, my Instagram is soha.ashrafiyan, and I would
Mm,
be happy to connect if you wanted, and if
okay.
you have any question about marketing or branding, I would be happy to answer.
Amazing. And there we have it, guys. Soha has basically broken down. I mean, I feel like this was a consultancy call within a masterclass because it was just fully packed. She basically broke down what business branding looks like, the growth in entrepreneurship, and how you can embed community to building your branding. And that brings us to the end of the session. Make sure you took notes. Make sure you write everything down and not just sit on this information. You need to take action and make it work for you. Apply these concepts to your business and watch how your business transforms. Till we come your way again next time, let's continue to turn knowledge into action and build bricks into banks. This has been Bricks and Banks with Steph, and this is me signing out. Thank you so much for being on the call
Thank you for
today.
having me. It was a pleasure talking to you. Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.